Hey everybody, this is Matthew Boyle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you an activity that I did in the first week of my classes here at the university that I think went really well. So I want to show you how to do it with your classes. It's a demonstration to help students understand time management and setting their priorities. And it's not my own idea. I saw it elsewhere in other videos on YouTube. I just stumbled upon it a few days before classes were going to begin, and I thought this would be a great demonstration for my new students at the university who are freshmen and really need to learn the value of scheduling and prioritizing their biggest goals. So you will see it done a little differently in other videos, and I'll put links and descriptions to that below this one. But okay, so what do you need? Everything you see here is what you'll need to do this in your class. You can just have a plastic bottle that you've cut the top off of, another plastic bottle, same size, full of water. You'll need, I would say, 3 different sizes of fruits. You want a very small size. I have grapes. You want a slightly bigger size. These are Chinese dates. And then for the biggest size, you could use maybe mangoes or apples or something. Keep in mind that some fruits will float and some will sink. So you do want to kind of test this at home before you do it in class, because whether they float or sink can cause a little bit of problems for the visuals. So you should test that. And also some cloths in case you spill a lot of water in the classroom, which I did and which I wanted to do. You'll need some towels to clean up the water. And also you have some containers to carry your fruit to class, but this is all you need. Okay, so how do you actually do this? What are you going to do? Well, you're going to start with the apples, and at this point you can talk to students and you can ask them what are their biggest dreams or their biggest goals, and you can say the apples represent that. So like for my university students, I would say the apples might represent starting a company or traveling abroad or becoming fluent in another language, for example. But you might have to change that depending on the age of your students, what's their biggest goal. And then the empty bottle represents their limited time and energy. Every day you only have a limited amount of time and energy. That's represented by this empty bottle. So how you start is you grab the water and you tell them that every day when we wake up, we automatically start the day with distractions, and that is represented by water. Water is the meaningless activities that we start to do the moment we wake up. So it could be checking the phone or watching some TV or just, I don't know, scrolling through headlines, just scrolling through the feed on your phone, for example. And again, you may have to adapt this type of language depending on the ages of your students. But basically, the water is the meaningless, time-wasting activities that we do throughout the day, beginning when we wake up. So that already starts to fill up the bottle, about halfway. And then you can grab the smallest size fruits that you have. In my case, it's grapes. And you can talk with the students to ask them what they think the grapes could represent. This is something that you do throughout the day, but it's not very important. So maybe chit-chatting with friends about something that's not very important or not very serious, just idle chit-chat or idle talking. Or maybe it's replying to messages. So if you wake up and you have a lot of texts and a lot of emails and you feel like you have to reply to all of them right away and you feel like you can't save them until later, that can be a little bit of a time-wasting thing. So that's represented by the grapes. And then you go to the next size up and you tell the students, okay, this fruit represents something that's a little more important than the grapes, but it's still not the most important thing you could be doing. So you and your students are going to have to decide what that is. You can negotiate that with the students. And as you talk about those things, you can drop some in and you can get suggestions from different students about what this represents. Again, something that's more important than the grapes, but it's still not their most important dreams and goals. Those are the apples. All right. So once you get to this point, you kind of talk to your students and you say, wow, look, our time and energy has already kind of been wasted and spent away on the things that are not our most important goals and dreams. So we get towards the end of the day, we've done all the little things that were popping up in front of us that demanded our attention. And we get to the end of the day and we realize it's hard to fit our most important goals and dreams in here. And I like to make a big show of it at this point, and sometimes I force water to come out and spill all over the desk and the table. And that's another good reason why to have those cloths, and the students, they'll be surprised and say, "Oh!" And you just make a big mess because you just can't fit in anything else. And you find out that there's no more room, there's no more time, there's no more energy, there's no more ability to concentrate your full attention if you do it this way. So you let that kind of sink in a little bit with the students. You say, look, your most important goals and dreams, you have no more time and energy for them. And days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and we're always never tackling the most important stuff first. So after you do that, you're going to need to pour these materials back out. You're going to need to pour this water into a sink or outside the classroom or in some plants or whatever. And you're going to kind of need to reset for part 2 of this demonstration. So this may take you 2 to 3 minutes to set up to do this again in a slightly different way. If you like, then maybe you could have a second set of water and fruit ready to go, maybe a second set of everything, so you can just put that to the side and immediately start doing the second one. But for me, I'm just going to pour out this water, quickly separate these things, and I'll be back with you here in about 2 minutes. Okay, we're back, and that literally just took me less than 2 minutes to do. I poured out the water, and then I poured all of this into here and quickly pulled out the bigger fruits to put back in there out of the grapes. That was easy. It didn't take me too long. I didn't even bother to clean up the water right now. So we're just going to keep moving along with the students. So now you can show the students the proper way to go about their day, how to prioritize. What you want to do is when you have the most energetic, the most optimal hours during the day for you to do work, and for some that may be different for different people, but for a lot of people it's first thing in the day. First thing when they wake up, the mornings are when they can do a lot of their hardest work. So that is when you want to start tackling the apples, whatever the apples represent for you. Again, for my university students, this might be starting a website or a blog or a company or starting a job so they can save money if they want to travel abroad. So you show your students, we're going to put those into the bottle first. Again, I recommend you test this with your fruits in your bottles to make sure everything fits before you do this in class. So you put the apples in first, and then you go to your second largest fruit, whatever those are, and then you can ask your students, what do these represent again? What kinds of things? What kinds of activities? And again, you kind of negotiate with them, what do these fruits represent? These are the second most important things, and you start to do them after you've worked on your most important goals and dreams, the things that you most want to achieve in your life. And you just drop these in quickly as you're talking to students. Altogether, this activity shouldn't take more than 15 minutes, I would say. And there's plenty of opportunities if you want students to write or journal or reflect in groups about what these things mean, or maybe what do these fruits represent for individual students. Maybe that could be a writing exercise, some kind of writing prompt. Okay, then you go to your grapes. For us, the grapes were not a very important thing at all. This is just, again, chit-chatting with friends, hanging out with friends a lot, and just maybe watching TV or joking around. Replying to a bunch of messages with thumbs up and happy faces, replying to everybody who messaged you throughout last night and the night. So we put all those grapes in there. And then the last thing we have is to pour in some water. The water represents the most meaningless things you could do with your time, which still you might want to do sometimes, just checking, scrolling through the phone, or maybe just watching TV. Maybe you're just watching some TV, a show you don't even like, just before you go to bed. You just want to relax. And you find out when you prioritize your goals, you actually have enough time and energy to do everything. So everything fits in the jar. But the only way it's going to fit is if you make sure you do the most important things first in your day with the full power of your energy and your focus. And then you can move on to do the other things. And so you let that sink in, and the students really, a lot of students, I saw them have that aha moment where they kind of light up and they really realize something because they get to see it. You're not just talking. You actually get to look at something. And I did it with plastic bottle to be more safe, because some people in other videos, they used glass jars and glass bottles. I had plastic bottle and I had fruit. And so after we do this the second time, I pour out the water and pass out the fruit to the class to have as a snack. And we can kind of talk informally about that. After that, we can talk informally about what just happened, what did we just do, and everybody gets to have some fruit. So let me know what you think about this activity. If you tried it, how did it go? Or if you haven't tried it yet and you have some questions, just leave those below in the comments section and I'll be happy to answer you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here next time.